Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to Movie Monday. I have just worked 5 12-hour shifts in a row, and I got one more on 23rd of December, which is today, Monday. It is past midnight now. Before my next 12-hour shift, and my last one, before I get 2 days off, and then I got normal 8-hour shifts. And I got a 10-hour shift as well coming. I had a few 10-hour shifts already. I had like 4 or 5 of those too. It's been busy at Christmas time, but at least I get the extra overtime money, so there is that. And I'll get a nice bonus at the end of it too, so it's very good at my new workplace. But yeah, as I was saying, the point is I'm tired, but I have got time for this. This week's movie is quite an old one. It's mainly not about Christmas. It is partly about Christmas. It's considered a Christmas film by some people and not by others. It's mainly about a corrupt businessman. So the plot is an angel is sent from heaven, I assume the angel's a woman, to help a desperately frustrated businessman who is corrupt. That I added that in as an ad-lib, by showing him what life would have been like if he had never existed. Interesting. It's definitely something that's sounds like it's got a deep plot. It's from 1946. I've paused it for now. It's on Prime Video, which is good. I've had Prime for years now, mainly for deliveries, but the video service is quite a bonus when it has the movie you want or the show you want. But yeah, the title picture is in black and white. Yeah, and the film's in black and white as well. The film is in black and white, which I'm fine with. I'm looking forward to this. It's from 1946. Hopefully it's a good story like I imagine it to be, even though it's mostly not about Christmas anyway, but it is partly about Christmas, and it's partly a Christmas film. Considered one anyway. And I'm finally watching it. Next week, we're going to fit in one more, and that's the last one of the year, and it's going to be The Grinch. I've seen 2 versions of the original one. The Jim Carrey and the original animation. Next one is the animated Benedict Cumberbatch one, so I'll be watching that next week. And then in the new year we'll start some new films. Obviously not Christmas related, but technically Christmas is 12 days, ending on January 5th. And January 6th when you take decorations down. At least that's how I celebrate it. My tree is still not up, which is hilarious. Check my channel, Sir Davidoff. That is my vlogging channel. When I put my tree up, I'll put it on that channel, put a video on that channel. But for now, it's still just, to be fair, next episode you'll see it. It will be up. It's 23rd now, it's so late. But literally, we left it a week late. I normally want it up December 1st. Left it a week late. I realised my tree was missing a part, and it was a key part of the tree that makes it stand up. So that was a bit worrying. Went to get a new tree, bought the wrong tree. We bought a half tree, a tree that is made to be against the wall, so it looks like a tree, a full tree, but it's just a half. It's like a semicircle basically. It's half a tree. Didn't want that, but my granddad wanted it, so we gave it to granddad, and we bought another tree, and it is still sitting right there. It's got a snowy theme to it. It's like green and white, if you can kind of see that. But yeah, anyway, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not going to talk too much during the film, but how these work is I talk during the film, then I'd give you a rating and a review, and that's about it. But I'm looking forward to enjoying this before going to bed. So yeah, let me do this and I'll tell you my thoughts. Probably after the film. I might cut in between. In 2025, I'm hoping to start doing reactions for these. I still don't know how I'm going to do it, because I don't know how, like, there's people react to movies all the time on YouTube. How do they get the footage? I still don't know. I still don't understand. But yeah, I can still react to a movie. It's just, it's going to take more editing. But I can try and manage it somehow, try and find a faster way to edit it. But the main barrier, the main issue is, how do I get the footage? Apart from that, we shall see. So yeah, let me watch this film. It is about to start on Prime Video. There you go, that's the title picture. And the movie is now over. I have literally not paused it at all to talk to you, even though there's like, Prime Video is annoying now because you got an advert at the start, which is, adverts at the start is fine, but then you get an advert break like 30 minutes in, and it's the only advert, it's only one advert break, but still it's just like, is this a YouTube video? Like, what's going on? Anyway, I mean, I say YouTube video, apparently they have loads of adverts now. I use premium, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, as I was saying, I actually didn't pause it at all. So that's actually normally I pause it to say something, or I just say something as it's still going. But that was a really good film. Like, really good. Like, I heard it was great. So I heard it was great. It's just that, you know, because it came out so long ago, I thought, oh, maybe I might like, maybe I won't be like as enthusiastic about it. But no, it was that good. It was actually that good. Incredible story, had me invested the entire time. And it's all dialogue and drama. It gets really emotional at times when the angel comes down. So I like how they perceive like heaven to be like this space galaxy, I guess. So you go up into the sky and then you go into space, and there's this like little galaxy looking area, and you don't see the people, but you see them talking. You see the angels talking to each other. So there's an angel called Clarence. He is tasked, I can't even speak, he is tasked, I can't even say tasked properly, he's tasked with saving George. So the concept is these angels are gonna save people that could be gone for many different reasons. Help them see a better way, and angels, essentially suicide, I guess, essentially suicide. I don't know how else it would apply, to be honest. I don't think they are sent down to save people from getting murdered, although that could happen. I don't know, but essentially they save people from themselves, and if they manage to successfully save them, they earn their wings, because there's different classes of angels. He's a second class angel, he's got no wings. If he saves someone, he earns his wings. Interesting concept. So most of the film is you see George's life, and Clarence is shown by the chief angel of George's life. George is a good guy. I said corrupt businessman, but I'm just like, no, nothing was corrupt at all. He was a really good guy. Big fan of the actor. He's a recognizable face. Don't know his name, but I recognize him from somewhere. I don't know where. But his acting was incredible in this. He plays the character so well. Acting in general is good as well for other characters, but him particularly, he's the star of the show. I mean, he should be the main character, but still, he plays it so damn well, and has to be pointed out, because it doesn't always work out that way, the main character. Sometimes a different character is the better character, but the main character in this, easily the star of the show, as he's meant to be. But yeah, you get to see his life from when he's a kid. So when he's a kid, he lives in Bedford Falls, which is like a very snowy, cold town. At one point they're in the park, sliding down glacier or something, like a frozen lake. His brother falls through the ice into the lake, into freezing water. You stay in there too long, you die. And their kids at this point, I think under the age of 10, I can't remember the exact age, honestly. They might have been 10-year-olds, I don't know. I can't remember, but they were kids. They were very young. His brother was going to die. He jumped in with the help of his friends as well. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of kids there. But he jumped in first, saved his brother from certain death. In doing so, he lost hearing in one ear. So that's that. But he saved his brother, and he himself was alive, and nobody died. Later on, he's still a kid. He works for this old man who runs like a drugstore, as in like medicinal drugs. People are sick. He is the medicine doctor. So he, as a kid, works for this medicine doctor. This medicine doctor, he gets a note that his son has died, so he starts getting really depressed. And he tells George to go and get this medicine to this house. The kid needs it. She's really sick. She really needs this medicine. Because he wasn't thinking straight, he wasn't thinking clearly, the old man accidentally put poison into those medicines, because he makes medicine as well. He accidentally puts the wrong poison in. George, as a kid, smart kid, he notices that, and he catches it, and he doesn't send the medicine there. He doesn't tell the old man yet. The old man finds out that it wasn't sent to him. The medicine wasn't sent to the kids, so he starts hitting George. I said George. I can't speak clearly, I'm tired. He keeps hitting George, and George is a kid, and it's not even his kid. He's hitting George. His damaged ear is still bleeding from losing his hearing from that ball. But then he explains to the old man, like, there was poison in this, and then the old man apologized, and the kid George says, don't worry, I'll never tell anyone about this. Not about the beating, but about the poison medicine that he never put medicine, because literally you could end up in jail, even though it didn't hurt anyone anyway. Obviously it could have really killed someone actually. So yeah, he He saved that old man. He saved his brother. A good man with a good heart. He finds love with Mary, who's obsessed with him. He takes a while to actually get her, even though she clearly wants him. But eventually he gets there. He's got a nice, loving mother, of course. His father is running a loans company, a good loans company for the community. So people who are struggling get to get a loan to build a house or to do something else with it, and in return, obviously they pay him back. But it's like it's not like a modern day loans company that take advantage and charge lots of interest. It's more like a friendly loan. It's a loans company, but they do it for the purpose of helping out the community and their friends and people who really need the money. And in return, they have a fair policy of, you know, actually paying the money back. So I like that. That's pretty cool. There's this Billy. Well, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's very rich. This rich man. I've already forgotten his name. He was that much of a dick. I don't remember his name, even though it was mentioned all the time. This man basically runs the town. This rich man. He owns all the businesses. He runs everything. He charges people rent. He owns properties. He is the kingpin. Not a criminal, but a very rich man who doesn't care about people, really. He just wants to make money. He basically owns everything except that loans company. And he looks down on George's father because of this. He looks down on George's father as someone who helps the poor. He doesn't care about the poor, he cares about profit. And he doesn't have any shares in this loans company. So he doesn't like the fact that someone's running this successful thing. He doesn't like the fact that that he can't get his hands on it, basically, this rich man. Eventually, so his father, who runs this loans company, eventually dies. So he has to take over with his uncle Billy. And he's a strong man. He's a good man who fights. He fights for his business and people around him and the community. He goes head to head with this rich man. I feel like I'd be here all day if I explain exactly like the full context of it. But essentially, he fights for the people. He fights for his loan company, and he stands up to this rich man. This rich man who owns everything in the town. He stands up to him. He fights against him, and he stands up for the community. His friends, everybody, most people in the town love him. They don't love the rich guy, but they love him. You know, certain things that, you know, the rich guy just can't have, and he just stands up to the rich guy, you know. And there's one point where the loans company basically goes broke, and people start complaining that they can't get their money back, and they're threatening to go to the rich man because he's offering to pay them 50% of the money straight away. And he literally fights tooth and nail to say, if you do that, he take advantage of you, he'll charge you higher rent, he'll do all this and this and that, which is true. It's exactly true. The people trusted him, and the faith was repaid. The faith was repaid. The point is, he was a good man who ran an actual good loan company, and he had a good love life, a lot of good friends, a lot of people who loved him. The main bar in the town, the owners loved him. Everybody loved him. His wife, his love interest, who became his wife eventually, they had 4 kids. His brother, who he saved, went to war. This happened this movie takes place during the 1930s and 40s. So he couldn't go to war because of his injury. He was an air raid warden though. But his brother Harry, he went on air raids. He was in the air. He was in a Navy Air Force. He was not in the Air Force. He was in the Navy, but it was like a pilot. He was a pilot for the Navy. He shot down, was it 15 jets? I'm surprised I remember all of this detail. He shot down 15 jets, and two of them were about to kill everyone on the ship. He saved an entire ship by shooting down a couple planes. So if you go back to his childhood, if he didn't save his brother would not have saved those men in the war. That's crazy to think about. And that's what happens later on. So what happens basically is George, a good man, a confident man with a good heart, eventually what happens is his Uncle Billy loses $8,000 in a bank. He misplaces it, essentially. The rich man, who owns the bank, of course, he finds himself to have this $8,000 that was left. But I don't think he accidentally gave it to him. Like, yeah, he had 2 pieces of paper. He accidentally gave the 8,000 to the rich man. The rich man took this 8,000. He doesn't inform anyone, doesn't give it back, because for him it's a way to take down this loans company for good. Because if they don't put this $8,000 into the bank, then the business could go bust and they can go to prison for misplacing $8,000. So George starts panicking. He doesn't attack Uncle Billy, but he like shakes him like, where's the money, where's the money? After they look for it for ages, retracing their steps, etc. It's a really angry scene. Then there's a scene which makes it seem like he's having an affair, but I don't think he's actually having an affair. But like, he pays, there's a woman that really loves him as well, but she's not his love interest. But there's a scene where he pays her to leave town, and I'm just like, well, what's that scene about? I was just, it looked like an affair, but I don't know if it was. I'm trying to think about what actually that was, because we're perceiving this guy to be a good guy. But yeah, after the stress of this $8,000 thing, he goes home to his wife and kids, and he takes his anger out on them, not in a physical way, but he starts shouting. One of his kids is homesick because something happened at school. The teacher calls the house and he has a go at the teacher. And the teacher's husband wants to punch him, and he punches him later on in a bar. So he throws a tantrum, he scares and upsets his wife and kids. He goes out to the pub where that teacher's husband, who funnily just happens to be there, punches him in the face, knocks him down. He, at this point, is at a complete low point. He even goes to the rich man begging for help. He doesn't help him. Why would the rich man help him anyway? But he's a prick anyway, so screw him. So, yeah, I've not explained it too well, but yeah, so then you get to the premise, right? He goes to a bridge. I also forgot to mention, George was an ambitious guy. He wanted to really leave that town, because it was owned by this rich guy. He wanted to leave this town, take his talent elsewhere, because he's a smart, talented guy. He wanted to travel the world and work elsewhere. He wanted to travel to Europe. He had to cancel it, because his father died. I think that's why he cancelled it. He wanted to go on a business trip. It didn't work out. Was it a business trip? I can't remember. He wanted to go to college. He couldn't go in the end because he had to look after his loans business. If he didn't stay, it would have gone down under, and he cared too much about it. So instead he gave his college saved up money to his brother, who went to college and obviously joined the army eventually. So again, another knock-on effect. Every opportunity he had to leave the town, for whatever reason, he was pulled back in and could never leave. He never leaves the town that he always wanted to leave, which is interesting. But he still had a good life in that town, you know, as I mentioned, with all the people around him and all the people that he helped. You know, people not necessarily his close friends, but people that he helped with those loans and stuff. He helped people build homes. He helped to build homes. He really was a man for the community. Meanwhile, this rich man making money for everyone, and no one can afford anything. It's kind of relatable to modern day sometimes. But anyway, that's a different story. So yeah, he's at his low point. There's a bit more context to what I said, but I've said the main parts. This video is going to be quite long, but there's a lot to talk about here. He goes to the bridge, right? There's a bridge. He goes to this bridge. He wanted to build bridges. He wanted to build skyscrapers. He wanted to design cities. That's part of him wanting to leave the town. But anyway, he goes to this bridge to off himself. He doesn't want to live anymore. He doesn't want to do anything. So this is where the angel turns up. The angel is there. It's not in the form of a woman. I thought it was because of the thumbnail of the film and the poster, but that's his love interest. That's not the angel. The angel is a guy, middle-aged guy. He looks like a random middle-aged guy you find at a pub. So this angel decides to jump in the water instead, because this angel knew that he would save him. So he looked at him, oh, George is gonna jump off this bridge. Let me jump off this bridge into the water and scream for help. And because of that, he will come and save me. So George, instead of offing himself, he saves the man who he thinks is offing himself, essentially. So the angel is saving him by letting him save him, if that makes sense. He's like, oh, that guy's gonna take his own life. I'm gonna pretend I'm taking my own life so he can come and save me, so he doesn't take his own life. It's confusing, but in the actual scene it makes sense what he's doing. It's logical actually. And then they have a conversation in a lighthouse. It's not a lighthouse, it's just a place on a bridge where there's a man there who gets freaked out by the fact he's an angel. George doesn't quite believe he's an angel yet. In this conversation, basically the angel's trying to get him to change, and the angel, it's a hard job for the angel. Very tough job, but he's going to try somehow. George decides to wish that he had never been born. And the angel looks up and says, he looks up to heaven and says, because you don't hear the voice back this time. You hear it during the movie and at the start, but here you just see him looking up, asking the question. You don't hear the response, but you just hear him talking. And I thought, is he talking to God? No, he's not. He's talking to the chief angel, who's named Joseph, by the way. That's if you're a Christian, you know who Joseph is. I'm just like, Joseph, as in Jesus' human dad. Anyway, but that wasn't him. I think it was just a random angel called Joseph, who's the chief angel. But yeah, I've gone off on a tangent there. But yeah, he says, Clarence goes up and says, is that a good idea, Joseph? I think it is. So he grants his wish. If George has never existed, this is what the town would be like. So George goes back into town. Nobody knows him. Mary, who he married, is a lone woman, never married, runs a library. She screams and runs away when he tries to see her, because he never existed in the first place, so she doesn't know him. No one knows him in this life. The police officer he's best friends with wants to arrest him because, again, they don't know him. He gets kicked out of his favourite pub. Again, he thinks he knows the owners. They don't know him anymore. The saddest part, oh my days, the saddest part. The old man who had news that his son has died. Obviously, George never existed. So Kid George, who stopped the poison medicine from being delivered, didn't stop the medicine. That medicine made it it got delivered. The kid died. The old man served 20 years in jail. Now he's, I don't know if he's homeless or whatever, but he walks into this pub and he gets kicked out. So the whole town hates him. Understandably so. You know, you hand someone medicine, you're in charge of medicine, you hand someone and it kills them. Yeah, that is a prison sentence. No matter what the context is. Yes, he's an old man that didn't really know what he was doing, but still. But to see like that old man then, 20 years later, who's a lot older, he's still alive, and you look at him, you're just like, that is heartbreaking. And if George was there, he's saved, but George wasn't there. You know who else wasn't saved? His brother. His brother as a kid. I think he said the year actually, 1911. I think he was 8 then. His brother died in that water because George was never there to save him. He meets his mother, who obviously doesn't recognize him because, as far as she's concerned, she had one son who's died. So he turns up, he's saying, "I'm your son." Yeah, she's not going to entertain that, mate. But obviously he's still realizing that he's got his wish granted. But yeah, essentially he sees everything change. His loan company doesn't exist. His uncle Billy ruined the business. I think the misplaced 8,000 is what happened, essentially. Run out of business. Uncle Billy is in a mental asylum, I think, because he lost the business. So again, without George, another man loses himself, another person loses themselves. Everything's different, you know, every single thing. So yeah, I could go into more characters, but it's fine as it is. I don't think it's oh yeah, it does. The rich man. So if George doesn't exist, the town is named after the rich man. So there's that as well. The rich man doesn't have any opposition for anything. That was me explaining the film, and I'll tell you what, it was damn incredible. And at the end of it, what happens at the end is George, after seeing everything and realizing what would happen if he didn't exist, he wants his wife back, he wants his kids back, he wants his friends back. He screams to the heavens, "I want to live, I want to live." But at this point the angel is gone back up already, I think. You don't see him anymore. But he screams, "I want to live." and his wish is granted. Because it ends with, like, he punched the police officer. So the police officer chased him to the bridge. He went back straight to the bridge. He screams, I want to leave, I want to live. The police officer arrives, but he's not there to arrest him because it's back to normal now. Everyone remembers him. He never punched the officer. The officer said, I've been looking for you all over town. We're looking for you. Mary's looking for you. He goes back home. He's very happy. He screams Merry Christmas everyone, because it takes place Christmas Eve, this particular night. Most of the film takes place over a period of time, but the end of it is on Christmas Eve, on the night before Christmas Day. It's the same night they had to go. His family had a rant. The kids' teacher, everything that lost $8,000, all of that on this day, Christmas Eve. When he comes back, he's happy. He screams Merry Christmas to everybody. Then he gets home, and there's people there, and he's thinking he's getting arrested because the rich man actually actually snitched and called the police to arrest him because it's punishable by jail, losing that much money, misplacing that in a business. So I mentioned that he helped a lot of people, right? So this is when this comes into play. So clearly some time has passed since he had this whole angel experience. He comes home. His wife, who's out looking for him, comes back home as well. His kids are there, ready. The people are there, probably to arrest him or whatever. And Mary says, they're coming, they're coming. He's just like, what do you mean they're coming? What's going on? Also, I forgot to mention, there's another guy who's a businessman from New York, right? So this businessman, George also helps him. So George has a business idea to make a lot of money. And this businessman wants to make it happen, and his father starts a business. And George tells him not just the idea, but also, you can start it in this town. There's this building over there in town, in Bedford Falls, that was abandoned, and a lot of people lost their jobs. You can start it there. People will work for you. People need jobs. So he started that business. It was very successful. Turned over a lot of money. And I think Sam was his name. The other businessman, his friend, basically became very rich because of him. So another person that benefited from being his friend. Or I guess in that case acquaintance, because I don't think he likes him that much. But still, he gave him the idea. So there was that as well. So anyway, Mary comes in. So Uncle Billy and Mary went to get help. They asked the town to help George. George is in trouble. I guess they told the town about this $8,000, and everybody helped. Apart from the rich guy, but everybody helped because George spent his life helping everybody in town. So at the end of it, I guess the Christmas message, everybody who he helped, literally the entire town basically, even his maid, I think doesn't work for him anymore. And he worked for his parents, to be fair. Even his maid, the woman that I thought was having an affair with, but he's not, who's not leaving town. I still don't get that part of the story. What was the point of her? Anyway. Essentially, so many people, basically the entire town, came to his house, apart from, I guess, that teacher's husband, to give him money. Like, people gave him coins, notes, everything. Then they got a call from Sam, the rich man who he helped start a new business, who's currently in London on business. He called, sent a letter, and he said, here's $25,000 advance to you. Just from that guy. Just from that rich guy that he helped start a business for. He gave him $25,000, which is enough anyway. And then the people of the town gave him all the money. There's so much money that they gave him. And also, I forgot to mention as well, earlier when people were angry about the loans company struggling and having no money to pay them, he took money out of his own pocket to actually give money to people. Like, he's just like, how much do you need for 60 days? You can have that, you can have that, you can have that. He gave the whole town money out of his own pocket just to cover his loans company. That's also important context. Once again, the people are paying him back. The people who are struggling before, who became successful because of him, and just people who there's a character who struggled a lot with life and then was helped by the loans company, and now he's doing really well. He made a lot of money and he's now paying him back. And it's like the whole town came together to help him with his loans company, because he spent his whole life giving his heart and his life even though he wanted to leave the place, he was forced to stay, but he still had a good enough heart. He had, I'm making it sound like he's a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He just wanted to, he had ambitions, but his purpose was always in that town, and he helped so many people. He could have been salty about it. He could have been a nasty guy. I wanted to leave this place. I don't have to be here. I shouldn't be here. Every time I wanted to leave, I've been stopped. It's been nothing like that. He was a good guy. He helped everybody, and in turn, everybody helped him. And it was nice. It was like a really nice, beautiful scene. And it really is true. Like he was a good man who helped. He was saving everybody and helping everybody, and a lot of people had better lives because of him. And even then, he got to the point where he wanted to off himself when he didn't realize the impact he had on people's lives. And if he never existed, you know, the town would be in tatters. And if he had gone through with that and passed away, well, you've got to be safe for YouTube, the town would have suffered a lot. So, and they would have grieved a lot. So the fact that they all saved him at the end, and a nice Christmas song plays, Merry Christmas. So most of it's not about Christmas, but it does snow most of the time in this town, in this film. The storytelling is good, the narration is good, the acting from the main character is absolutely brilliant, top notch. Oscar worthy, I reckon. And it's a nice Christmas feel at the end. They sing a Christmas song, Christmas carol, and everybody's happy. Yeah, so that was a really interesting story. I want to watch that again. It was that good. It was that good. That was beautiful, that film. And it's taken me this long to watch it. See, now I wish I reacted to it, but I don't have any time. I barely have time now. I gotta edit this. I'm gonna quickly edit. I'm just gonna literally clip the start, the end of each clip. It'll be done in 10 minutes. But this video is quite long. But I hope you enjoyed the review. I'm gonna rate it a 9.3 out of 10. I give nothing a 10. I normally give like the best movies 9.5. I don't think I've ever gone higher. I might have a couple of times, but I think 9.3 is pretty damn great. I give most movies like between a 6 and an 8. Most movies 8 I'd consider solid, but just not like top level. But this one's a 9.3. It's one of the best films I've seen this year. 100%. The last few years maybe. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever